Good morning, Vietnams. Okay, that reference is going to make sense in just a moment. But first, hello, North York, and welcome to Meet Your Neighbor, a weekly Willowdale interview series. And welcome to all those who have tuned in before, and welcome to all those joining us for the very, very, very first time. How this works is every week we introduce you to a new neighbor in the spirit of building a more connected community. And we ask them the tough questions like, where can you get your nails did and then get some delicious Vietnamese food in Willowdale? Well, this week's wonderful guest can answer that question. We are excited to be joined by someone from Lux Nail Bar in Vietnams, an incredible family-owned businesses side by side on Sheppard Avenue East. We're so excited to have Mr. Tony Hoang with us tonight. And before we start the interview, allow me to introduce you to our host, Miss Lily Cheng.
Hello, fellow Willowdalers. So nice to be here with you every Monday night at 9 p.m. Well, the first time that I walked into Vietnam's, I really wasn't sure what I was going to be getting. You know, it's in a nondescript mall right in the middle of Willowdale. But what really surprised me was how fresh and how how flavorful the pho was. And I love a good bowl of pho. So I thought to myself when we started this series, we have to talk to Tony. So let's bring him in and have a chat with one of the owners of Vietnam's and the Lux Nail Bar right next door.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us, and thank you for your gift of delicious food to our community. We're really grateful. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about, how long you've been a business owner here in Willowdale, and what has that journey looked like?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, my family came from humble beginnings. Just like 7 years ago, we pooled our money together, and it was my mom's dream to have like something of our own. My sister is also in the industry. She is a nail technician. So it's 2-to-1 odds because I wanted a restaurant, but then my mom's like, and my sister is like, no, nail salon, because this is our industry. So I'm like, okay, fine, let's do it. So we pulled everything together and we opened our first Lux Nail Bar like 7 years ago at 245 Sheppard Avenue East.
So your sister won the first battle.
Exactly. It was a majority rule.
And then what happened next?
So like Lux Nail Bar was a huge success. Like everybody in the neighborhood came out and support us. I've met so many people in the neighborhood. A lot of my customers are first name basis. You know what I mean? And that's like a little kink and quirkiness that we get to have together. I get to choose their color. And they'll come in and they'll be like, I don't want to decide and stuff like that. And then I'm like, okay, I'll just like kind of randomize it and I'll introduce them to new colors. And that's where our little banter comes in and we just make fun and talk and all stuff like that. And I'll put on like reality TV show and we'd just have a blast all the time. And then just like 2-3 years ago, our Neighbour restaurant, they were closing down, or they decided to like kind of like leave the industry and not want to work anymore. I think they used to be called Dragon House. Yeah, and we had the opportunity to take over, and we were gonna be like we were deciding if we should do a nail salon or something else, and we would decide against the nail salon because we didn't want to put too many eggs in our one basket. And then I get to finally have my dream of having a restaurant or something like that, and that's the baby Vietnam's came alive, and then we started putting things in motion, and we're like, it was very bizarre to have a takeout oriented Vietnamese restaurant because that's very unheard of. Because usually it's like kind of sit in and dine in and kind of enjoy a bowl of pho. So like taking out pho is not the same experience. But given the space that we had to kind of make do, and we kind of had to specialize in taking out Vietnamese food. And we had to learn from scratch, but through trial and error, I think it worked out really well for us too. Yeah.
So who coined the name Vietnams? It's such a great, catchy, funny kind of name. It's really like, I think everyone will remember it whenever they hear about it.
yeah, like my personality is very goofy and like I love puns and stuff like that. My mom, however, does not understand pun or anything like that. So she's like, "You misspelled Vietnam, you stupid." You're like, no one's gonna understand your joke. It's not funny. And we should have like pho in the name, like pho 88 or like, or just make it sound authentic, or like pho one, like pho 617 or something like that, or have a Vietnamese name with the word pho in it. You know what I mean? And I felt like that is too cliche. And I told my mom, like, please just let me have this one thing. Like, I beg you, the people are gonna love it and trust me. And they're like, no, it's not. It's so stupid. We're gonna waste our money and no one's gonna come because of your name. And yeah, it's just really funny. But like leading, like once I finally got her to like agree to let me have it. It was like the best decision ever, because customers come in and they're like, oh, I love your name, and I only came here because of the name, and it's so funny, and you know what I mean? And I love the whole like branding and stuff like that. And then now I get to tell my mom every time someone says that, it's like, I told you so. I told you so. So like having one up on my mom is always like a victory, because like it's a constant battle between, like creative side and like her style of ways of thinking. Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun.
So now you have, started 2 businesses with your family. How has that been on family relationships? Is it hard, or has it bonded you closer together, or a bit of both?
A bit of both. I would say it's definitely hard in the beginning. We all work long hours. Just because beginning is like, you get very low pay because you're working for your family, and it's like you don't get sick days, you don't get off days. Like I can't call my mom and be like, I don't have a feeling about today, so I'm coming. She's like, I don't care, you're coming in, right? So there's a lot of dynamics that we had to kind of work through and just kind of like figure things out. A lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, and a lot of loud conversations, a lot of you can, whatever you think of, we've been through it. It's just, but it made us stronger. Honestly, it made us stronger, and it made us more of a family, I would say.
So what were the transferable skills for you in terms of, starting Lux Nails and then starting a restaurant? And what did you have to kind of climb a steep learning curve to start the second business?
Yeah, so the great thing about having Vietnams next to Lux Nail Bar is, even if we have 0 customers, like just starting up, we had our own staff and ourselves. So we could always have a place to go eat lunch, a place to buy food. So it wasn't sustainable solely relying on our staff, but it was a constant stream of like, stream of incomes where we can just constantly get our staff and our customer base from Lux Nail Bar. So it helped transition over. The good thing about me is I've always been a customer service kind of guy, or like I like to talk to customers and know things about them. That way I can enhance the services. So the transition was fairly smooth, I would say. And like my background is in culinary. I went to school for culinary at George Brown. So I always had the passion for cooking. And after I graduated, I worked a couple of years, I realized that I had the passion for eating and not cooking. So it's 2 different things, okay? Like I love food and I want it to be a career, but when I worked in the industry for a period of time, I'm like, maybe this is not for me. I just like to eat the food and, describe it or sell it, or like, like enjoy it. And I'll leave the cooking for my mom or someone who's really good. Yeah.
So who has developed these recipes? Is it your background cooking plus your mom's, what she brings to the recipes? Who's defined the signature taste of Vietnams?
Yeah, so the recipe is all my mom's, because I'm not allowed to touch that stuff. Like I can give inputs of like what I think should be, or how it should be presented and stuff like that. But the recipe is 100% my mom. This is what we grew up eating. It's more kind of home vibes, like comfort food for me. So, and we wanted to share that with the mass, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed like, even your pho is different from like what you would get in another restaurant. There you add chicken where a lot of people don't put chicken in their pho, and I find that the soup is not as greasy. It's fresh and lighter. Is that something that you've intentionally tried to carve out like a taste that's a little different from the Pho 88 restaurants?
I feel like for our style of pho, we just cook it how we like to eat, and that just means use a little more ingredients and use a little more bone, use a little more of like I would say like it's a little cliche, but like more love. You kind of saying like we try not to dilute the pot as much, you know what I mean? Because we like to make it, we make it the day ahead, and then that way the soup rests and the base is a lot stronger, so we sell it the next day. So we constantly just have to make a new batch every day, so that we have one batch ready. There's no really secret. I would just say, because pho and Vietnamese food is very simple. It's all like ingredient based. Vietnamese food, we love to eat raw stuff, eat raw ingredients, and let those ingredients speak for itself. So in terms of our cooking, same thing. If you put a lot of ingredients in, most of the time it'll turn out well. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and just give it a little more TLC, then you're good. I don't think we do anything different. However, the chicken breast thing is more in terms of, in our area is such a melting pot and it's very diverse. And I wanted to have a slightly healthier option. That's why and that's the thing where like my mom would use full chicken with skin on, and I would be like, hey, let's try chicken breast, because like people are moving towards like the healthier option. Let's have chicken breast on the menu, and people, I think people would like that versus like the skin on and they'll have like the feet and all this stuff like that. I'm like, oh, let's just clean that up a little bit and we have it like just simple. Yeah, so I think like it works well for our area because there's such a diversity of people, right? That I see every day, and some people can't eat pork, some people want to eat like certain things, and I think we want to be included. We want to be inclusive for everybody.
So authentic, home cooked Vietnamese food with a healthy option.
Yes,
that works. And so as you have developed your client base in these two stores, what have you noticed in terms of the Willowdaler profile? What would you say, sets this community apart or defines it for you?
The Willowdale profile, they're very supportive and loyal. Like I have customers that came in on my first day of open, and they're still coming bi-weekly or weekly, you know what I mean? And they're very supportive. They're genuinely good people that just ask you about how you're feeling that day and how are you doing during the pandemic. How are you holding up? I mean, it's not just coming in and ordering food though. Your husband came in and picked up some food, and we came talking and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just that little connection that we have, and like me knowing people by their first name basis, I feel like we're on another level, not just client to just not just another customer. Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Cheers in a Vietnamese takeout bar restaurant.
Exactly.
That's great. Do you get any people coming back to you in Vietnams to ask you for a nail color?
Yeah. I constantly have to run back and forth because the nature of the business is we're right next door to each other. I'm gonna have to. Yeah. So all my nail customers, always the ones that wants help with their selection of color, I am gladly there to help. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So next time we order our pho, we have something else to ask you.
Yes.
That's a cool color right now.
Yeah. Because like my mom used to work at the nail salon supply shop, and I would do a lot of the ordering. So I kind of have like a knack for remembering OPI color names. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I would be like, oh, you should, if you like translucent color, get bubble bath from OPI, or like if you like a nice Prada red, it'd be like Big Apple red or something like that. And people are like, oh my God, how do you remember all this stuff? And then that'd be like, oh, I know. That's like the little thing that I have with my clients, that where like I'll name out things and they're like, they don't even know what there is, but I'm like, trust me, it looks nice. I got you, girl. And then they trust me and they'll do it. And then that's how we build a rapport. And then next time they were like, just get me, just get whatever. And then I introduce them to new colors and more vibrant colors or something like that. Yeah.
So you're a restaurateur / nail stylist. A very unique combination of gifts. What would you like to see, happen in Willowdale now that, you've been here for 7 years, establishing a business? From what you can see around you, what do you think would improve our community?
I love what you're doing right now. I think that is bringing our community together. I've never been in, I never moved to a place and got like automatically included in a Facebook group, and you know what I mean, and keep up to date with what's happening. And we share things like an accident happened on the Facebook group, but I feel like that connects us together, right? Knowing the community, knowing what's happening, and knowing the events and all this stuff, and how to connect and who needs help. You know what I mean? Like you're a great initiator, and I feel like we need more of this. Like more people doing this. That's really good. Like what you doing right now is amazing.
Oh, thanks, Tony. I appreciate that.
Problem.
So you have worked here and served Willowdalers so much that you fell in love with our neighborhood, and now you are a Willowdaler. How has that been? How has living in Willowdale been? Yeah,
it's amazing. I love it. We went from living downtown, like downtown core, to moving up here. And the best thing is I can walk to work, I can bike to work. It takes me like 10 minutes. I can drive to work, which takes me like 5 minutes. It's super convenient. I love the community. I love the different cultures that we have just on Yonge and Sheppard. Like from Yonge and Sheppard to Yonge and Steeles, it's like just these certain blocks. You're getting like little Korea, little like Persia, little Iran, and then you get all these melting pots. And I made it a point to try every restaurant along this block. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I love food and I love trying food, so I always want to support the local and stuff like that.
So what are some of your favorites when you're not craving Vietnamese food?
That's a tough one. I love Hey Sushi. It's on Spring Garden. Do you know where that is? Yeah, they're really good.
Tacos, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I love My Chicken. Like Korean fried chicken I'm obsessed with that. There's this little like hidden gem that's called Kanan Cake Center. It's they make like Korean walnut cakes, and it's from a mom and pop shop.
Oh,
like yeah, it's right. It's on Spring Garden as well, and she's a customer of mine, and her and her husband makes like really good walnut cake with like custards in it or red bean in it. And I always encourage my customer who has a business to bring food in and trade with me. That's how I knew she had a cake shop. She's like, oh, I'll bring you something, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, bring me something. And she brought me one day with these amazing walnut cake. And I was like, oh my God, these are the best thing ever. And I encourage her to bring, I'm like, don't bring me money next time. Just bring me these more cakes and I'll trade you food. Cause I love these like little incentive initiative that I get to try your food and then you get to try my food and you don't have to spend any money at all because, it's the pandemic, and why not just trade me food and trade you food. And that's how we became friends kind of, right? And I know her as like first name basis. Like as soon as she orders, it's like, Mary, how are you doing? Yeah. But I think you should support these mom and pop shop or these small businesses while you still can, because it's really hard right now.
That is amazing. Yeah. A secret food trade happening amongst businesses in Willowdale.
I tell everybody to bring me food, and I have this also one Willowdale named Sunny, and she has this thing called Fat Ninja Bites. But it's Fat Ninja Bites. She's at she's at Kennedy, like across the street from P Mall, and we would trade food all the time. And she's a big supporter of ours, and she always talk us up. But yeah, like her chicken katsu burger and stuff like that, it's really good. It's super. Her taro chips are really good. So definitely check out Fat Ninja Bites. But I always tell people to bring me food, and I would love to trade because that's the best thing ever. When you have something that you can trade, it just, I don't know, it's way cooler than paying with money, right?
So you can really expand your palette through food trading.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, is there a secret menu at Vietnam's?
We do have an off menu that we've been kind of like experimenting with. We like to do a little more unique food. Like we did a fish paste noodle soup, and that was like a hot seller. And we used to rotate our off menu special every week, but now with the pandemic, we kind of just chose the most popular one, which is bum rio. It's the crab noodle soup in a tomato base, and because that's the favorite, and that always sells out. So we just figured let's just keep that on the off menu. That way people know what they're getting and don't have to figure it out and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully when everything opens up, we can expand our off menu and do something more creative. But right now we trying to like stick to what people like, and that way we don't have to be wastage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. So what has the impact of the pandemic been on your business?
It's hard. The nail salons definitely took a bigger hit. It's been closed for like 8 months, right? The whole industry's taken a hit, right? Even if we have all the safety precautions like the plexiglass in between and all the stuff like that, and we abide by the rules, it is what it is, and we've been closed for that duration. So like being closed for that duration, you do get subsidies, but it's not enough where like you're still digging yourself out of the hole when you open. You know what I mean? Like you're in a hole so deep, and the reason why we've been hanging on is because that's our original location. My mom is superstitious, and she's like, "That's the original. We gotta keep it forever. that's our luck." So I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna keep it as long as we can." But yeah, it's definitely been difficult. Yeah, definitely difficult. And Vietnams, we have our ups and downs during the pandemic because we have in our area we have a lot of like retail customers and residential customers, because across from us are like TD Bank and these big like law office or real estate office. But when the lockdown happened and everybody's working from home, we lost our lunch clientele. So like the people that you go to work and have lunch, we lost that like they stopped going to work. They're working from home, so they weren't eating lunch anymore. So we kind of lost our lunch crowd. However, our residential side, which helped carry us over the pandemic, was been massive. They would come in even though they had food already or something like that, or they'd be like, "I'm buying it for my friend because I want her to try it." Yeah, and they would come in and pick up a couple of sandwiches and they would share it to their whole complex or something like that. So I had like a major support. I that's why we love Willowdale so much. Is like the outpour of support is amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good to hear. And hopefully, as we open up more and more, things will not just stabilize, but they will expand. Do you have a dream of expanding into a sit-in restaurant?
It's been discussed, but we don't know with the current situation, like if it's going to be another lockdown, if it's going to be another lockdown. I think what we like about the takeout style is like we've perfected it. We kind of got a good thing going, and maybe that's like the brand for us. Is like if they go to Vietnam, they kind of know what they want. Maybe we'll have a couple of chairs, but I don't think for us anyways, a sit-in of 20 seats is in our future. I think we like it micro, and we like to kind of like manage it, and with it being smaller, it's easier to manage it, I would say.
Yeah, well, I think you've come up with a really good formula, and it was in a way pandemic proof because you weren't paying rent for a huge facility that you can't see people in. So yeah, it's worked out in some ways, even though you didn't some comments?
Hindsight was like 2020, but like 2 years ago when we opened, it was bizarre to have a takeout restaurant. If you were like laughing, like not laughing, but like people were saying like it's not gonna work out. Like no one's gonna take out pho. It's just the stupidest thing ever. It's like, and like now it's like that's the only thing people are doing is take out everything. So it just works out. Yeah, like we didn't think about it, but it just happened to be like that. And it's kind of our saving grace because if we didn't have the restaurant, we would have been in a really tough situation, having to support the nail salon. So whatever we did for the restaurant, we kind of topped off our nail salon and kind of just make do with what we have. Yeah.
Well, then we need to put the message out to our community to rally around. Everyone, let's go get our nails done and have some pho and banh mi while we're there, right?
Yes. I would personally serve you.
And you can get your nail color from Tony while you're ordering your pho. He'll tell
100%.
you right away the opie color that best matches your favorite.
Sure. I can match any color.
Oh, here's a question. If Willowdale were a nail color, what color would it be?
Willowdale would be some bright, vibrant neon color because everybody's so happy and joyful and loving. So any neon bright color that you can see from everywhere and you can differentiate a Willowdale from any of it else, I would say for sure.
And now that you are both a business owner and a resident here in our community, what are your hopes for the future of our community?
I continue on course. We're doing really well. I mean, with you sharing all the links and everything and connecting people to whoever needs help, to who's willing to help. That you being that middleman kind of like helped everything to connect everybody together. That's really good. I feel like more of that. I feel like we do need a dog park in Willowdale. Like I came from downtown and I have 2 dogs, and that's one of the things that I miss the most is being able to walk to a dog park and just let my dog like play around, because that's like my baby in a sense, and taking them to the park is like one of the happy times of their lives kind of thing. I would say I would love to have I know like obviously that's probably not gonna happen, but like I would love to have a dog park of some sort.
Well, it has been talked about, and I know like especially in the Harrison Garden community, Avondale area, the concentration of dogs is huge, right? I remember like going, on a floor, if you like knock on doors of any floor in those condos, every other door there's a dog. So I can just imagine how many dogs need a park near there. I know like Earl Bales has a really nice dog park, but you want to be able to be walkable. That's ideal. And there's another one at Bayview and
Steeles
and Cummer.
Oh, okay.
Bayview and Cummer behind the skating rink.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then there is talk of a development of one on the west side of Yonge. So I think like, if dog owners really want to work together to, I think you have to approach the city councilor but I wouldn't give up hope because I know that dogs are members of everyone's family. They're not just a pet. And I do see how happy dogs are when they can be unleashed and free and running around. So don't give up hope. But you might need to take a little action, when you're out walking with other dog owners. I think there's like a Facebook group for dog owners who are in I don't know which neighborhood you're in Willowdale, but I know some of the communities, there's actually like Facebook groups for dog owners, because then they like say, oh, let's all meet here at this time. So you should get connected to one.
Yes, 100%. I would love that.
Yeah, I'll put it out in our chat, in our group, like if anyone knows where those groups are, because then maybe you could find one to belong to. That would be good. Yeah. Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining us. I did want to let you know, like, you're talking about connecting our community. We're having this event called Meet Your Neighbors Week. And the challenge, and I think it might be very hard for you because you're a business owner and your hours are really tight, but the invitation, I shouldn't say challenge, is to get to know your immediate neighbors through a small meetup. So you can put an invitation out to your immediate 4 or 5 neighbors and say, like, would you like to meet for lemonade on my driveway, or at a park nearby? And then you know a few of your neighbors, because I think that's something that we all need, right? We need to know others and be known. So it might, especially you're relatively new to the community, I'm sure there are many people in your immediate neighborhood who would love to know you more. So
yeah, I would love to have people to know me and know the business side of our operation. Yeah, 100%. We'd love that.
Yeah, so I'll send you the link and you can sign up to host one. Yeah, and then we're also having Willowdale Yard Sale Day, where I'm sure you'll be busy with your restaurant, but when people are busy selling their items in their homes, they might not want to cook lunch for themselves that day, and they can definitely order takeout from Vietnam. So.
Yes, please.
We will point them in your direction.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, Tony, thanks so much for spending time with us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you back at your restaurant very soon, and maybe getting a mani-pedi.
Thank you, guys. No, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Amazing. I'm coming in for a mani-pedi banh mi. That's what I want. I want
Yes.
the trifecta.
The trifecta.
Thank you so much, Tony. And thank you to everyone who joined us for another installment of Meet Your Neighbor. As I always say, if you want to be a guest on the show, or you'd like to nominate a neighbor that you think would be awesome for Meet Your Neighbor, connect with us. We'd love to meet you. You can email sebastian@neighborlink.org. And to find out more information on Meet Your Neighbor Week and Willowdale Yard Sale Day, visit neighborweek.eventbrite.ca. And the website is scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now. We're off next week for the long weekend, but we will be back in 2 weeks with a new neighbor. But in the meantime, there's a whole week to go out and meet a neighbor yourself. You can wave hi on the street. Maybe Lily and Tony can demonstrate for us. If they were walking down the street in Willowdale, they don't know each other. Instead of being on their phone or looking down, they would wave to each other just like this.
Hi!
Amazing. So meet your neighbor. You could, roll up your neighbor's recycling bin up from the curb, or buy the car behind you in line at Timmy's a coffee. There's so many opportunities to get out there and meet your neighbor, and you can let us know how you did on social media. But we'll see you next time, same place, new neighbor in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Lily.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sebastian. Thanks, Tony.